All right, let's jump into John 15. Starting in verse 1, it says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it would be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you're like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now, remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I've told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. But instead, I call you friends, for everything that I've learned from my Father I've made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. And so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my command: love each other." So hopefully you're paying attention, and hopefully you haven't zoned me out yet. If you have been listening, hopefully you heard there was a word that kept popping up over and over, in 11 times actually in just 17 verses. It's the Greek word meno, and it means remain or abide or stay or wait. And this is used all throughout the New Testament, but especially it's the same word used when Jesus pleads with his 3 disciples to stay with him in the Garden of Gethsemane. Stay with me, wait with me, remain with me. So the text is clear. Our call, our job as a follower of Jesus is to try as best we can to remain with him, to abide with him. But how do we do that? I'm going to submit today that it's time spent with him, familiarity with him. Last year, a pastor up in the Northwest, John Mark Comer, released a book called Practicing the Way. And in this, he walks through and lists 3 different steps for every disciple. And they're there on the screen if you can see it. Be with Jesus, become like Jesus, do as he did. And he starts off the book with a quote from the ancient Near East. He says, "May you be covered with the dust from your rabbi." See, in the ancient Near East culture, to be called by a rabbi, to be chosen and invited to follow a rabbi was a huge honor. It was like if you were to get a letter in the mail that you have been accepted to Hogwarts. Or for the realists in the room, that you have a full ride scholarship and you're going to go to Harvard. It was for the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And so a rabbi would see them and call them and invite them to follow them. And the goal of those who were following the rabbi was simply to spend time with that rabbi. Comer says you would leave your family, your village, your trade, and follow your rabbi 24 hours a day. You were a student, but class wasn't just Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 to 11:50. Class was life. You would spend every waking moment with your rabbi, sleeping at his side, eating at his table, sitting at his feet, and end up, after long hours, walking behind him from town to town, covered in his dust. And by spending so much time with your rabbi, the hope was that you would become like your rabbi. You would learn as much as you could from them. And then, again, the best of the best, the cream of the crop, would at some point be released by their rabbi to go and call their own apprentices, or, as Jesus put it, to make disciples. But we have to start at the beginning. We can't become like Jesus, nor can we hope to do as Jesus did without first spending time with him. And so in the text here in chapter 15, we see that Jesus is the vine and we are the branches. We are connected to the source, chosen by Jesus, abiding in his love, and only then producing fruit. We must be connected to the source first. We must spend time with Jesus first. And hopefully after an extended amount of time of spending that time with Jesus, being more familiar with him, we can hope to become more like him. Something you may not know about me is I love music. And I also love to go and see concerts. I love to see the artists or bands perform live. Well, a couple of months ago, hold on, don't show it yet. A couple of months ago, I was listening to the alternative rock radio station here in town, and they were running a contest. And this was for a concert that was coming up, 2 tickets for a concert that was coming up in May. And it was 4 different bands that were performing. The headliner was the one I was most familiar with. I knew a handful of their songs. Then there was 2 bands that I knew maybe one of their songs. And then there was another band which I'd never heard of in my entire life. But additionally, in addition to the 2 concert tickets, there was an opportunity to have a barbecue with the headlining band before the concert. And the barbecue company that was sponsoring or hosting this event was from a barbecue place on the Fort Worth side of town that I had never been to, but I've heard was really good. See, I was kind of interested in seeing this band, but I was way more interested in trying the barbecue. And something else you may not know about me is that I never win anything. I have tried many contests. I've entered, those things where you go and you fill out to enter a car. I've never won any of those. I've played a lot of claw machine games. I've played a lot of carnival games, and I never win. But this was so easy. It was text a word to this number, and you're entered to win. And guess what? I won. So, as you saw, a little foreshadowing, this is the group that was at the barbecue with the band. And then here's a zoomed-in picture of an arrow over my head, so you can see that I'm telling the truth. I was actually there. I'm standing behind my brother-in-law there. There's a lot more to this story that I'll probably tell in another sermon sometime. But here's a funny thing. Neither I or my brother-in-law could have pointed out who those band members were if it wasn't for all of those other super fans at that barbecue. See, right after that picture, there was a time to meet and greet the different band members, and we only knew who they were because of that. Again, we were more interested in the barbecue. And the same is true with anything in our lives. If we want to be familiar with something, we have to spend time with it. Comer makes the case that the question isn't, am I becoming a person? It's, who or what am I becoming? The question isn't, am I going to believe? It's, who or what am I going to believe in? It's not, am I going to be formed, but it's, who or what am I going to be formed by? Jesus said it a little differently. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Earlier in John, in the first part of chapter 10, Jesus gives a discourse about how we are the sheep, and the Lord is the shepherd, and Jesus himself is the gate. And he reiterates over and over in that passage about how well the sheep know the voice of the shepherd. In fact, other people call the sheep and they don't go, but they only respond when their shepherd calls them. I didn't know this band because I didn't spend time with them. I was not an apprentice to them in any way. I did cram for the final by listening to their music the week leading up, so I try to be a little more familiar with their music, but I still only was familiar with a couple of their songs. The truth is, when we spend time with Jesus consistently, regularly, we are transformed into his likeness. It's the same way that you start to like the things that your friends or the people that you hang around like. I can't say that I actually like it, but I'm much more appreciative of oral hygiene being married to a dental hygienist. As we spend time with Jesus and over time hope to become more like him, we will hopefully do as he did. And the final two verses of chapter 15 there paint this picture. Jesus calls, chooses, and appoints us to do what? It says, to produce fruit and to love one another. I don't know about you, but whenever I hear fruit referenced in the Bible, my mind automatically goes to Galatians 5 and the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. When I'm spending time with the Lord, when I'm intentionally remaining in him, I notice these fruits more in my life. And there's a lot of ways you can spend time with Jesus. Prayer, scripture reading, meditation, walking in nature, etc. But honestly, one of the ways that I've found in my own life is through being a part of different groups. Being in community with others. Being in relationship in that way. I found myself to be a better person in my life to bear more of these fruits when I'm involved in types of groups. It's the accountability that it provides. It's the deep connection and relationship. It's the conversations that it offers. Not only that, but I believe that the Lord speaks through these people and these groups to strengthen me, to encourage me, to challenge me. Last semester, as we were beginning the semester, this was Kylie and I's family schedule for groups. Sunday afternoon, I co-led a Rooted group. And then Sunday evening, I co-led a Re-engage group. And then Tuesday evening, Kylie co-led a women's group. And then Wednesday evening, Kylie and I led together a Re-engage group. So when we started talking to some families here about joining their small group, their Connect group, which meets on Thursday nights, my first thought was, no, I don't want to give up another night of my week. But as we thought through it more, as we talked about it more, we decided to jump in with them. And now am I saying that our Thursday evenings when we meet, especially with a opinionated 3-year-old who refuses to take naps but desperately still needs them, am I saying that those are easy? No, not particularly. But I've loved the community and the sweet connections that we've made, the conversations that have sprouted from being a part of that group. We've been able to get to know some people that we didn't know before. And then when a group of guys saw a need for a men's group, specifically early on a weekday, so they chose 6 a.m. on Friday mornings, was I particularly interested in going in on my day off, showing up earlier than 6 to set the room and be a part of that group? Again, not particularly. But I've found that this group and this community has helped me. It's strengthened me. It's made me better. And I can notice a difference in myself when I'm engaged in the rhythms that Rooted provides. I can see this fruit produced and born more in my life. And not only that, but the Lord is continuing to use the content of Rooted to reveal and teach me something each time I facilitate it. And I'm honestly simply a better husband whenever I'm involved and engaged in the conversations that re-engage, in essence, forces me to have with Kylie. Not only about our marriage, but about our individual spiritual lives as well. Okay, stop rolling your eyes. I can see it, I can feel it. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to get pity either. And this is part of my job, right? I'm the groups guy. But I hope you hear my heart when I say that these groups help me remain connected to the vine. These groups I have seen help me to be better. They produce fruit, this fruit in me. I believe they help me stay with Jesus, spend time with him, become more like him, and do as he did. And I hope all of us in here can agree that that's our goal. That's what we want. We want to be disciples of Jesus. But maybe you're wondering, what does that look like? How do you even start? I would offer a couple of ways. Prayer. I think prayer is maybe the most attainable. If you're not praying at all, choose one day this week and just pray for a little bit. If you're already praying, pray a little bit more. Add 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it might be. Or challenge yourself to pray in a different way, a different form, a different position even. Or read Scripture. Again, start small. You don't have to read the Bible in a whole year, but if you need a challenge, there you go. And you don't have to wait to start in January. You can start now. And if you want to be an overachiever, spend a whole year diving into Leviticus or Lamentations. Another option, I would say, and again, I hope you hear this from my heart today, that groups are a great way. We're currently in the process of relaunching a lot of our groups here at Greenville Oaks. And we have a lot of different types of groups to meet different needs. We have groups that meet on almost every single day of the week. Some that meet here in the building, some that meet in homes around the area. We have groups specifically for men or specifically for women, or some that you can do together as a couple or as a family. We have some focused on discipleship and furthering your walk with Jesus, some to walk with you through life and all the things that life throws at you, some to focus on your marriage a little more. Some are more focused like a Bible study, and some are a little more focused like fellowship, and that's okay. As Christopher said, today we're highlighting all of our men's and women's offerings out in the group showcase. Last week was our gathering circles and discipleship groups and support groups, and next week will be our community groups. But I invite you, after service, go chat with some of the leaders in the Maloney family room in the lobby. Look for the blue shirts. Or if that's too scary, just do a drive-by and scan the QR code. When we spend time with Jesus, remaining in him, abiding in him, connected to the source, we will become more like him. And as we continue to become more like him, we'll see the fruit produced in our lives. And we'll be able to love others well. We'll be able to do as he did. I firmly believe that Jesus continually, consistently calls and invites each of us every single day, every single season, to a next step in our relationship and our walk with him. A faith journey by nature doesn't end until we breathe our last breath. A relationship with Jesus is not static, it's dynamic. So today, I invite you to consider, where is your relationship with Jesus right now? And be honest with yourself. It doesn't help if you're not honest. For some, maybe this is a chance to begin, to start, to jump in, to take that first step. For some, maybe it's a chance to jump back in. Maybe it's gone on cruise control for a while, and you need to take it off of that. Maybe it's become a little complacent or stagnant. For some, maybe it's a chance to dive deeper. You're thirsty and you're hungry and you want more. Or for some, maybe you've been burned. And so I pray and hope that today might be a chance to try again. But wherever you are, what I'm inviting you to do is take one small step, whatever it might be. Jesus has called you, chosen you, appointed you. He invites us to follow him, to be connected to him, but it's our choice to do that. It doesn't happen by accident, but by intentionality and purpose. So, today and this week, may we all choose that next step. And may we all be covered with the dust from our Rabbi. Would you pray with me? God, thank you. Thank you for the invitation to follow. Thank you for making a way for us to be connected to you. I pray for each of us, myself included, Lord, that this week might be a chance for us to take a step. May we all dig deeper, dive deeper, continue to walk with you as you call us to more. Help us to follow you. I pray all this in your Son's name. Amen.